Hi again. This is Ryan Black, and I'm coming from REB Records Studio and our live streaming set here, where I work with my creative partner, Janae Contag, who is the artist Nay. And I wanted to take a moment to sort of introduce you to me as an artist and as a professional, and take some time to do what would usually be done on the first day of class in a sort of in-person situation. So thought I'd take a moment, do that, say hi, and show you some of the work that influences me and that allows me to come to you as a professional and bring those skills that I think are important to working in this field. I start my background as a musician from a musical family, and both parents are musicians. My brother is a violinist with the Pittsburgh Symphony and the Grant Park Symphony here in Chicago, and I'm a professional trumpet player. I went to college as a classical and jazz trumpet player, and then also went on to do performing arts technology, recording, installation art, and continued that into sound engineering as a master's degree. But schooling, as we all know, kind of takes you so far. And the experience that you have in a professional field is where those skills that you develop as a student get applied, refined, and you learn the most important things. I will just take an aside as a teacher and say the two most important things are understanding signal flow in audio. Two most important things in audio are understanding signal flow, getting that's how it works. Everything's about signal flow. It's usually the user's fault. It's usually not the equipment. But if you understand signal flow, you'll be able to deduce that very quickly. So that's number one. And number two is being easy and reliable to work with. If you can do those two things, you can work in this field. If either one of those two things does not work, eventually you'll get pushed into areas where you don't necessarily want to work, or people you don't want to work with, or whatever. So I've found those two skills really have paid off in spades. I went to college, University of Michigan, and then got into recording. And I realized I could make some money recording classical music. I enjoyed it. I was a classical musician. I was playing with the symphony orchestra, and I was the touring manager for the top jazz ensemble. And playing with them as well. And so I started doing more and more recording, and eventually coming out of school, playing professionally and recording, my first real gig was with the Brevard Music Festival. And that was a kind of a lucky break, being a nice guy, asking people, knowing people, and they were like, "We need someone." And I was like, "I'll do it." So I spent all the money I had on equipment, and I went out there and I recorded and was the recording director for the Brevard Music Festival. Over the years, obviously, you gain new skills, new titles, and so forth. And currently, while I've also been the music director for the Colorado Music Festival, that was 10 years later, in the interim, I was able to work with Chris Willis, who works with the CSO and Lyric Opera, as well as WFMT. Jim Reeves, who's a gold record engineer. I interned with him for several years, and that was just an amazing experience, and he's still going, and I appreciate both of those guys so much. And learned so much from those internships, which I'd highly recommend as well. And I have developed a set of skills that goes well beyond audio. And so now I have a title as project manager. And I do a lot of sort of multimedia work. As I mentioned, my degree actually sort of emphasized some of that. So on a professional scale, this is Morgan Manufacturing, and I'm a project manager there. So in addition to teaching and working with students in the Chicagoland area, when we're not in the current situation we're in, I am project managing large events like the one you see right there. Confetti sucks. It's the worst thing in the world to clean up, and we charge a lot of money if people want to fire off confetti cannons. But this is the main space that I work in. And make sure that these events get pulled off seamlessly at this beautiful industrial venue here in Chicago. Another sort of side gig that I've done over now, I think I think we're over 250 gigs with this band you see in front of you here. And this is the band Velocity here in Chicago that works with the Arlen Music Production Group. And I've been their A1 engineer for 5 years now, 4.5 years. I'm not in the photo here because I was setting up for the show that we were about to play. It was a gala. But these are all musicians that on a regular year I would play with probably at least once a week. I would perform with, and while you don't see me in the photos, I'm over on the sides and setting up equipment and making sure that all these weddings and corporate events, that the sound is good. So in these cases, I'm only an audio engineer, and my job is to set up, tear down, and mix. And I love mixing. I'm a very active mixer. I'm on the console all night, throwing in effects and fades and this and that and adjusting monitors. And I love it. And that's what I think makes great audio and makes a great performance ultimately, because a sound engineer can completely destroy a band. I mean, you can make them sound horrible. So I take that really seriously, and I take it also as a very creative task. I don't look at engineering as a technical task, but the technical skills are the foundation. And so I work very, very hard to make sure my technical skills are at a very high level, because the level after that is where it gets fun. So that's something that I've sort of become known for. And as a consultant in audio and for the last couple months in streaming, I've been sort of having those skills pushed to limits, because people will call and say, how are you doing these live streams? And with that being said, there's a series of shows that I've been doing with Nay, sorry, it's backwards because of the camera, but with Nay, that are live stream shows, and we call them Saturday. And part of that work has been doing and really working with concepts of what does it mean to engage in the reality and consumerism that we live in. And right now is an exceptional time to think about these things. And part of that involves my work as a photographer, as well as Janae Contag, who you can see her information here on the left, all the way over there. She's a lifestyle photographer, and here she is as character Nay, and here I am as character Blizzle. There's some photos down at the bottom here that are inappropriate for school, so we'll stick to these guys up top. This is for one of the shows that we did. Here's one that's coming up. It's called Orbital Ice Cream. And these are set pieces and costumes that we've been, that we put together for these shows. Here's one where I was going on like, I don't know, a 22-hour day at this point. So I look a little tired, but this was one that I put together, photo shoot down in the basement, where we were the robots. And if you look carefully at Nay here, you'll notice that some of her appendages are not quite correct. What really makes, for me, what really makes art work is the investment 100% in. And I love collaborating with other great artists. That's the piece that that makes it all worth it for me. So I find that most of my work, I as a mixing engineer, currently I'm working with John Anderson. I just finished up producing and mixing 9 videos, commercial videos for the Dave Rothstein Music Group. And that type of work is fun, and that's being hired and being good at your job, both the creative and the technical. But for me as an artist, it's supporting those artistic pursuits to their fulfillment that is the most fulfilling for me. And I've found that having a great team is the way to do that. And those people include, this is my record label, REB Records. And I've commercially released about 9 albums at this point. There's another, it's like 12 that are in production right now. And so obviously keeping up with something like that is taxing. It's a lot of work. And part of my skill set is trying to keep all of that organized as a project manager. So that's something I do. Here in the middle, you'll see me and my moniker Blizzle, which I go and when I'm on set, that's kind of who I am as a rapper. That's who I rap as, and it allows me to be in character as a creative. My business partner and songwriting partner is Sully. He's just a monster creative. Nay here, who I mentioned, my creative partner, she's helps me set all this up. She helped me set up this video right here. She helped me turn off the air conditioning and set up that big light that is why I'm sweating so much. But she's a creative monster, just all over the map on bringing amazing pop-oriented fun shows that are also super, super thoughtful together. So I'm really excited we're working together on this live stream, which I'll play a little bit in a minute. And then Nathan Glynn, who's a programmer, a creative programmer. He works on independent games. I can't remember the name of the specific company offhand, but he's done VR projects with Hilton, and he was one of the first engineer programmers into that. And Nathan actually was a former student of mine as an audio student, and reached out and was like, I want to do programming. I was like, but you don't have a background in computer science. He was like, yeah, I still want to do it. He's an expert in Unity, and he's also a StarCraft level designer. So he and I will sometimes jump on and play some StarCraft where he completely destroys me. So generally we try to play together, because then at least it's a challenge because he has to save me. This is one of the music videos that I helped produce here with Nay. We had a large team, a large production. We did this about 2 years ago, and it's up here on Vivo, which is pretty exciting. And I'll just play a little bit for you. Check it out.
Rhinestone studs on my guitar amp. I got my autograph copied in a signature stamp. Got that sofa tent rug and a 60-inch screen.
So what you'll see here is Nathan, who is absolutely not a drummer, playing something that is not a drum machine. Next to him, you'll see all sorts of equipment that is actually playing. These speakers that I spray painted and stuff, these are all actually on and cranking this song, the music in this large barn that we had to clean all the bat guano out of, which was quite an experience. Tons of pounds of it. There's a big 808 Mackie S amplifier mixer, and that's running all the audio, and then some of the cases and speakers that we have up. And of course, because Nay is fascinated by the 80s and by consumerism culture and stuff, I picked up this this guy right here, and we brought it to the workout room because you had to do it. So I was part of the editing process, the production process, the camera process, obviously the playing process, and I also co-wrote the song. It's quite a project. It's been fun, and we're working on like several more right now. If you want to see why we're doing all this working out, watch the beginning of the video. You'll get it. We're trying to help out Amber, who you might have seen pop up there, I think once in what we were watching. Yeah, so that is, there we go. That's me as an artist. I love collaborating. I think the technical skills are the foundation of being able to work in these industries successfully. And I know there are creative people who like do it, and I love working with those people. But I think if you're going to call yourself an engineer, you have to have those technical skills. It's just not a negotiable. They're the scales, right? If I tell you I'm a trumpet player, which I did, I can play all my scales. You know, like that's kind of a thing. Like if I go to a band, corporate wedding band, and they ask, Sure. Yeah, I can do that. I can sight read. I can do those basic skills to work in that industry. That doesn't mean you can't be a musician, but in order to be able to consistently keep going and pick up those gigs that come and hustle and make it work, I think it's an evolving, constantly learning environment that will allow me to keep doing that for the next 50, 60, 80 years, and for you to keep doing that. And I hope I can bring some of that excitement to you, and I hope that seeing some of this work will motivate you, will allow you to connect a little better with where I'm coming from and why I might push certain things. Because I will have a tendency to ask questions on a quiz that are like the same thing because I need you to know it. It's not because I'm trying to be mean or trick you. I want to work with you, and I do work with a lot of my former students. I've been teaching for over 10 years now. I always used to be mistaken for one of my students, so I would like play jokes, like I would just come in and sit down in the back of the classroom and be like, hey, who's the teacher? So I think now I'm finally, maybe, well, I'll get this cut soon enough, but finally that maybe won't happen. Anyway, I really appreciate it. I hope that you will also share some of your art with me. That means a lot, and the discussion questions and stuff that we have in class matter because it allows you to share that with me or your fellow classmates. And maybe there's a collaboration there. Those four people, three other people, me, Nathan, Janae, and Sully that I mentioned, I have gone through dozens and dozens of creative partners in my life. And figuring out what works and trying to songwrite with someone, they don't call you back, or you do a project and it's supposed to be money and then it doesn't show up and then they don't call, but then they get mad and you're like, I just can't deal with that. So you need to find your people, and I hope you will in time. And I hope in some way I can help make that happen and make you successful. So on the way out here, I'll leave you with a little bit of Saturday. This is the show that we are currently, we've been doing different shows every month, which is just a stupid amount of work. But it's been fun, and we've gotten some traction. We're doing a set of shows this upcoming week that is an all-feminine power pop show, and I'm sort of running tech support, but I'm also actually playing like a lot of the stuff. I perform regularly on trumpet, but I also sing and play bass and drums, as well as some guitar and keyboards when I need to. And so I try to support artists that I feel are putting in at least as much work as I do. If they're not, I'm out. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this. This is a little bit of some of our live stream from like 2 weeks ago, July 25th. And you get to see me play a little bit and see what I do. Also, I'm live mixing the video and the audio while I am playing. So when you see the camera switch, that I'm also triggering. So if you watch my right hand, you'll see it jut out and hit buttons. I'm triggering camera scenes and overlays and stuff. In this clip, you won't see overlays, but it's fun. I love it. It's not, I don't do it to brag. I do it because it's fun. And then I try to teach other people to do it. That's the consulting part. You're like, hey, I can show you how to do it. It's cool. But you got to pay me because I put in like 80 hours of work to figure out how to do this thing that I'm about to show you in like 3 hours. Right? So that's how I look at it. And I encourage you to do the same thing. Your skills already are valuable. Use them. All right. I look forward to it. It's a little bit about who I am. I don't know. Welcome. Hi.
ASPIR, ational. Sensational. ASPIR, ational.
Sensational.
I know it sounds decadent, and I might be a little bit crazy, but
So all of this is live looping here. Everything you're hearing except that hi-hat.
So I'm gonna go
this overlay here.
Plancha, spiced and wreathed in smoke. A coriander caviar with a single headache yolk. You might be thinking marrow with confit whiskey jus. A little soppressata with dust of honeydew.
That sounds delicious. All right, Kelsey. Yeah. Oh, this is Nay playing the character Kelsey, who is a server at a high-end restaurant. And here we're about to live loop. That's me switching the pedal. And here we go. So she's looping now her harmonies, and I'm looping trumpet harmony parts and shout choruses. So that's a little bit of the show. There's a whole storyline to it. Oh, this is, yeah. There's a whole storyline to it, and we're putting together sort of a telenovela style soap opera version of this to bring some more great entertainment to people. Oh, wrong one. So I'll see you soon, I hope. Awesome.